Today we're going to use all of your great factoring skills to multiply and divide fractions. Also, once you're done, you have to go back and list the restrictions for the denominators. You don't have to factor unless, of course, it's factorable, and it won't be factorable unless it has plus or minus signs in it. So for this first problem, there's no plus or minus signs, so you can just cross off the things that match and subtract with their powers. So for example, these two b's would cancel with b squared in the denominator. A squared cancels with a but leaves an a in the numerator. The c doesn't have anything to match in the top. When you're done, you multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom, so you get 2a over c. Now you have to go back through and look at the entire problem, and any letter that's in the bottom, you have to say that it cannot equal 0. So we have b squared cannot equal 0, which means b cannot equal 0. And of course, a and c are pretty easy because they are just there. So we say a cannot equal 0 and c cannot equal 0. In problem number 2, a lot of people like to just factor it right on top like this. They just factor it right on top of the problem. I'm going to rewrite it just for clarity. Judging by how well everyone factored, I'm going to guess you don't need any help factoring this one because this is so much easier than the ones that were on that paper on Monday. So multiply to get 15 with a difference of 2 would be 3 and 5, of course. And the 5 would be negative. Nope, forgot my y. Now the y plus 3's match. You cross off entire groups. 8 divided by 4 is 2. On the denominator, there's 1s only, so you don't have to write the denominator. The top, I'm just going to move the 2 in front of this. So we have 2 times y minus 5. That's the answer. Now you go back and look at all of your denominators. And it looks like the only thing we had in the denominator was, with the letter, was this y plus 3. So then you say, okay, y plus 3 cannot equal 0. Solve that little problem, and y cannot equal negative 3. So then the restriction on the denominator is just that. And then this is the entire answer. When you divide, you have to flip the second one, which is why you shouldn't just get in the habit of just writing right on top of the problem, because we're going to have to rewrite this. So this is x minus 5 over 6. Now what you can do is factor it and rewrite it at the same time. They have a 2 in common. So 6 and 12 reduce, and 12 goes, so this is a 2, and then the 2's reduced. Then the x minus 5's reduced. Everything cancels, so the answer is a 1. Now the only thing we had in the denominator, we got to look at all of the denominators. So the denominators are 6, 12, this 6, and this 2 times x minus 5. And all we're looking for is a denominator that has a letter in it, and the only one is the x minus 5. So then our restriction is x cannot equal 5. Another division problem here, so I'm going to factor it and cancel it, or factor it and flip it. So x, don't flip the first one. X is in common, 6 is on the bottom, times. The x goes to the top, these have a 3 in common. X minus 2's cancel. Do not cancel side to side. That's it. That's all there is. Straight across, x squared over 18. Now we go back and look at all the denominators. 6, x, 6, and that one. So we say x cannot equal 0, and x minus 2 cannot equal 0. So we get x cannot equal 0 and 2. Not sure why there's so many problems here, but more factoring. I know you're super good at this, so this will be easy. So we have m and m. Then we got to flip that second one. Multiply to get 8 with a difference of 2, of course, is 4 and 2. In the bottom, they have an 8 in common. This is going to go to the bottom, so 2 comes out. And now I'm looking at this guy. Multiply to get 12, add to get 7 would be 3 and 4. Plus 4 and minus 4 do not cancel. So be careful with just crossing stuff out. Also, don't cross out sideways. So now when we're done, this one looks a little bit different look. Go straight across the top, m plus 2, m plus 4. Don't multiply it out. And then we have 8 times 2. Now those are numbers, so you're expected to multiply them. Then we look at the denominators. This one, which these are the same, so we don't have to look at that. We have to look at this. We have to look at this. So we have to look at the fact that we gotta pay attention to this a little bit better. So this one is this one. So now we have all these things that we have to set not equal to 0. So m plus 3 cannot equal 0. M plus 4 cannot equal 0. M minus 4 cannot equal 0. So we get m cannot equal -3 and positive and -4. A lot of restrictions there because there's lots of factors. In number 6, we have x plus 3. Do not flip the first one. They have a 10 in common. X plus 2 on the bottom. Oh, we don't flip this one at all. So this is x plus 2. And then, of course, two numbers. And when you multiply, you get 3. And when you add them, you get 4. Canceling anything on the top with anything on the bottom. The answer to the problem is 1 over 10 times x plus 1. And so then our restrictions. We only have to look at these two denominators, which are the two denominators we have. So x plus 2 cannot equal 0. X plus 1 cannot equal 0. X plus 3 cannot equal 0. Now these are kind of easy because when you do this, you just do the opposite. So x cannot equal -2, -1, -3. I just wrote those down in the order that I had written the problems. Bored of this yet? Factoring everywhere, which is why we practiced it on Monday. So we have 12 with a difference of 1, so that's going to be a -4 and a +3. Flip the second one, so x minus 5 goes on the top and 2 comes out of the bottom one. X minus 4's cross off, x plus 3's. Remember, it's just top to bottom. Doesn't have to be two different fractions. So the answer looks like it's x minus 5 over 2. Our restrictions. These two denominators and those two denominators. So x minus 4 cannot equal 0. X minus 5 cannot equal 0. X plus 3 cannot equal 0. We know the 2 can't equal 0, so we don't care about that. So we get x cannot equal, looks like 4, 5, -3. Multiply to get 6. Subtract to get 5. That's how that factors. Take a 5 out of the bottom. Flip the second one. 7 comes out of the top. And now we need two numbers. When you multiply, you get 4. And when you subtract them, you get 3. So it has to be 4 and 1. Knowing that you're also very good at factoring is going to make this so much easier. So that was nice that you did such a good job on Monday and got all those really hard problems right. Oops, forgot my x. So that goes this and this. Doesn't look like anything else matches. So the numerator is 7 times x minus 6. The denominator is 5 times x minus 4. Now, if you don't want to write out all the problems for the restrictions, we can do it this way. We can just sort of look at it, right? So you already know you're going to take the opposite. Those are all the places that have restrictions because this one used to be in the bottom. So we can maybe just do it this way. So x cannot equal -3, +4, and -1. Doesn't matter how you get to the restrictions, just that you write them out. In the numerator, number 9, they have a 6 in common. And then they have a 2 in common in that other denominator. Not a lot here. X minus 3's are gone. X's are gone. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So it looks like the answer is 3/4. And then your restrictions, of course, this one and this one. We didn't have to flip anything, so we're good. X cannot equal 0 or 3. Then on this last problem, factor our 3 out. Flip the second one over. This is 48 x to the third on top now, x plus 4 on the bottom. 48 divided by 12 is 4. X to the third divided by x is x squared. So we're going to have to multiply 3 times 4 times x squared. And so we'll get 12x squared. That's a 12. There's a 1 on the bottom, or don't write it. So then we have to come up with our restrictions. X cannot equal 0, -4. Oh, and that's it.